Hi y'all, welcome back to study.com. In this session, we will get to know in detail about decline of Mauryan Empire. So let's get started. Mauryan Empire began to decline after the death of Ashoka in 232 BC. The last king Brihadrata was assassinated by his general Pushyamitra Sunga, who was a Brahmin. There are many reasons given by historians for the disintegration of the Mauryan Empire, like the weak successes, the vastness of the empire, independence of the provinces, foreign invasion, and internal revolt. There were several factors that contributed to the decline of the Mauryan Empire. First one, Brahmanical reaction. The anti-sacrifice attitude of Buddhism and Ashoka brought much loss to the Brahmanas, who lived on the gifts made to them in various kinds of sacrifices. In spite of the tolerant policy of Ashoka, the Brahmanas developed some kind of antipathy towards him. They wanted a policy that would favor them and uphold existing interests and privileges. Some of the kingdoms which arose on the ruins of the Maurya Empire were ruled by Brahmanas. The Sunkas and the Kanvas, who ruled in Madhya Pradesh and further east on the remnant of the Mauryan Empire, were Brahmanas. Similarly, the Shatavahanas, who founded a lasting kingdom in the western Deccan and Andhra, claimed to be Brahmanas. These Brahmana dynasties performed the Vedic sacrifices which were abandoned by Ashoka. Second point, financial crisis. The enormous expenditure on the maintenance of the huge army and payment to bureaucrats, the largest regiment of officers, created a financial crisis for the Mauryan Empire. Despite the taxes imposed on the people, it became difficult for the Mauryas to sustain this huge superstructure. It appears that the large grants to the Buddhist monks by Ashoka made the royal treasury empty, and in order to meet the expenses, they had to melt the images made of gold. The cost of establishing settlements on the newly cleared land also must have strained the treasury, as the people settling on these lands initially were exempted from tax. Third point, huge expenditure on army and bureaucracy. During Mauryan age, a huge expenditure was done on maintaining army and bureaucracy. Moreover, Ashoka during his reign made large grants to the Buddhist monks, which made the royal treasury empty. The Mauryan kings who succeeded Ashoka faced the financial crunch. Fourth point, oppressive rule in provinces. The oppressive rule in the provinces was another factor that led to the breaking up of the empire. In the reign of Bindusara, the citizens of Takshila complained against the misrule of wicked bureaucrats. Their grievances were redressed by the appointment of Ashoka as the viceroy of Takshila. But when Ashoka became the emperor, a similar complaint was lodged by the same city. The Kalinga edict shows that Ashoka felt very much concerned about the oppression in the province and therefore asked the Mahamatras not to torture townsmen without due cause. For this purpose, he introduced the rotation of officers in Tarali, Ujjain, and Takshila. All the measures taken did not help to stop oppression in the outlying provinces, and after the retirement of Ashoka, Takshila took the earliest opportunity to throw off the imperial yoke. Fifth point, the partition of the empire. After the death of Ashoka, the Mauryan Empire split into two halves, western and eastern parts. This weakened the empire. Kalhana, the author of the book Rajtaragini, which is an account of Kashmir's histories, says that after Ashoka's death, his son Jalauka ruled over Kashmir as an independent ruler. This partition resulted in invasion from the northwest. Sixth point, highly centralized administration. Historian Romila Thapar is of the view that the highly centralized administration under the Mauryas became a problem with the later Mauryan kings who were not as efficient administrators as their predecessors. Powerful kings like Chandragupta Maurya and Ashoka could control the administration well. But weak rulers led to a weakening of the administration and ultimately led to the empire's disintegration. Also, the sheer vastness of the Mauryan Empire meant that there had to be a very effective ruler at the center who could keep coherent all the regions. A weakening of the central administration coupled with a large distance to communicate also led to the rise of independent kingdoms. 7 point, weak monarchs after Ashoka. The successors of Ashoka were weak kings who could not carry the burden of the huge empire that was bequeathed to them. After Ashoka, only 6 kings could rule over the kingdom for a mere 52 years. The last Mauryan king, Brihadrata, was overthrown by his own army commander Pushyamitra. Only the first 3 kings of the Mauryan Empire were men of exceptional abilities and character. The later kings were no match in quality to their illustrious ancestors. 8 point, vastness of the empire. The Maurya Empire was too vast in its extent. While extending to the farthest corners of the Indian subcontinent, it also included territories outside the natural frontiers of India. This vastness was itself a source of weaknesses rather than of strength because of the lack of communication. Distances were so great that the empire could not remain a closely integrated political unit for a longer time. 9 point, internal revolt. During the rule of Brihadrata, there was an internal revolt led by his army chief Pushyamitra Sunka in about 185 or 186 BC. Banabhatta describes in Harshacharita how Sunka killed Brihadrata during an army parade. This entered the rule of the Mauryas over Magadha and then started the Sunka dynasty's rule. Next point, foreign invasions. From the days of Alexander's invasion, the northwest frontier of India remained exposed to the Greeks. Chandragupta Maurya drove out the Greeks from the Indian soil and by defeating Seleucus Nicator established his authority outside the Indian frontiers. During the rule of Bindusara and Ashoka, there was no fear from the Greek powers as they were fearful of the Mauryan army. But after Ashoka's death, when the Maurya Empire declined and disintegrated, the Greeks once again cast their greedy eyes on India. Another point, Ashoka's policies. Some scholars suggest that Ashoka's policies of non-violence and pacifism led to the weakening of the empire. Since he stopped waging wars, foreign powers were once again tempted to attack the kingdom. Also, he gave a lot of importance and effort to the propagation of Buddhism. Next point, administrative problems. Administrative problems also contributed to the decline of the Mauryan Empire. The vast size of the empire made it difficult to administer effectively. Corruption, inefficiency, and bureaucratic red tape were major administrative problems that hindered the empire's ability to function effectively. The empire's administration became increasingly ineffective, which made it difficult to manage the empire's vast territories. Another point, religious and social conflicts. Religious and social conflicts also weakened the Mauryan Empire. The rise of new religious and social movements such as Buddhism and Jainism challenged the traditional Hindu social order and led to the religious and social conflict that weakened the empire's unity and stability. The empire was also affected by caste conflicts, which further divided the population and weakened the empire's social fabric. Next point, military challenges. Military challenges also weakened the Mauryan Empire. The empire faced several military challenges during the later years. The empire's army was weakened by continuous wars and internal strife, and it was unable to effectively defend the empire from external threats. The empire's borders were constantly under attack from outside forces, including the Greeks and the Sakas. In conclusion, the decline of the Mauryan Empire was due to a combination of weak leadership, economic problems, administrative issues, military challenges, and social and religious conflicts. These factors led to the gradual decline of the empire and its ultimate collapse around 185 BC. Despite its decline, the Mauryan Empire left a lasting impact on Indian history and culture. The empire's legacy includes its administrative system, which was a model for later Indian empires, and its patronage of Buddhism, which played a major role in shaping Indian religious and cultural traditions. So, that's it for today's session. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you like my video, please subscribe and click on bell icon. If you have any doubt regarding this topic, please do comment. So we will meet again with another important session. Till then, bye. Thank you.